I'm sorry to have to break up the party, Mr. Weiss. I just need a word with your friend.
This week on Movie Preview, Justin Timberlake and Amanda Seyfried fight the clock in time. Harold and Kumar meet up once again for their 3D Christmas extravaganza. And Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy team up to take down a Wall Street tycoon in Tower Heist.
What you trying to steal?
$20 million.
Confusing times. Is she my mother, my sister, my daughter? You're hoping she's not my wife. Things used to be simpler once, so I'm told.
Imagine a world where you don't age past 25 and can live forever. That's the way of the future in Time, one of 5 new movies I'll be reviewing, including Eddie Murphy's latest, the new Harold and Kumar movie, plus what's going on at the Living Room Theaters. I'm Bryce Falcon. If you've watched the show before, you know how it works. If I like the movie, I say enter, as in enter the theater. If I don't like the movie, look for your nearest exit. There should be 2 right there in front of the screen. Our first movie is In Time, with an intriguing concept that works surprisingly well as food for thought, and that is time is the new currency. In the spirit of George Orwell's 1984, In Time presents a bleak dystopian vision of the future where you are defined by how much you are worth, in hours and minutes instead of the usual dollars and cents. A digital glow readout is imprinted on your arm like this as you watch your time on Earth tick down. Time can be taken away from you or added depending on just how wealthy or lucky you are. The territory is divided into different social classes where the poor die young and the rich can live forever. It sounds more complicated than it really is, but the jargon, like coffee costing 4 minutes instead of $4, becomes easy to grasp once you visualize this universe. Justin Timberlake plays Will Salas, who's on the poor end of the spectrum, as we see how this side of the world barely manages to accommodate themselves when time is not on their side.
Whoa, where's the rest?
Never met the quota.
My units are up from last week.
So is the quota.
He meets up with the wealthy Matt Bomer, who is tired of living. His face says 25, but he's really 105.
Everyone can't live forever. Where would we put them? Why do you think there are time zones? Why do you think taxes and prices go up the same day in the ghetto? The cost of living keeps rising to make sure people keep dying.
Now all that time is in the other one's hands, literally. Timberlake is trying to destroy this oppressive system and succeeds by sneaking into the rich man's world where he hooks up with powerful clientele that includes Mad Men's Vincent Kartheiser and his daughter, Amanda Seyfried.
Of course, some think what we have is unfair. The time difference between zones.
I've heard that.
But hasn't evolution always been unfair? Always been survival of the fittest? This is merely Darwinian capitalism. Natural selection.
Absolutely. The strong survive.
Cops are known as timekeepers in the future who control the flow of time between the classes, and Cillian Murphy plays a timekeeper who is curious about Timberlake's newfound
I am a
wealth.
timekeeper. I don't concern myself with justice. I only concern myself with what I can measure. Seconds, minutes, hours. I keep time. And that time is in the wrong hands.
After becoming suspect, he flees from the rich man scene, bringing along Seyfried, who yearns for adventure and challenging obstacles that the rich, in their immortality, take for granted.
You know, you could fight this.
I can say that running to the ghetto was my idea. My father would believe that. He thinks I'm reckless.
Here. Just in case.
What In Time does best is show how scary its implications run, how the rules of this world are laid out, which, as it goes without saying, is a cruel and inhuman way to exist. It was directed by Andrew Niccol, who also made the similar science fiction thriller Gattaca, about a future where genes determined who was perfect or imperfect in the hierarchy. That was a great film, and while In Time is good and very original, you wish it took the time to explore its ideas even more passionately. You hardly see anything original in the movies anymore that when you come across a concept like this, it feels kind of like a missed opportunity for the filmmakers to explore even darker waters in Insight. Today's crowd is so much jumpier more for action than intrigue, maybe that's why this is the finished product. Still, this is an exciting, entertaining, and sometimes very thoughtful thriller. Our next movie comes from the living room theaters, and it's called Love Crime. It focuses on the rocky relationship between master and protege, two women willing to do anything to rise to the top, one more earnest than the other. Ludivine Sagnier plays the naive assistant, and her boss is devilishly played by Kristen Scott Thomas. Miranda Priestley, watch out.
Vous voyez le type là-bas, le chauve, avec le nez dans son verre? C'est pas un poisson, c'est un requin. Il s'emmerde. Allez l'embobiner.
Mais je saurais pas. Je suis pas comme vous, je sais pas inventer des histoires. Et puis j'ai trop bu.
Tant mieux. Allez le faire parler de lui, les hommes adorent ça, mais attention, aux touches. Parfait.
The protege soon sees how deceptive their partnership really is when the boss is seen taking credit for her work, pawning it off as her own input, but Sagnier lacks the cutthroat backbone to defy her rule. That's when Thomas reminds her of her place in the world.
Vous voyez. Vous n'arrivez pas à me dire « je vous aime ».
Je vous aime, Christine.
The workplace scenes and the psychological duel between these two are really the best elements in the whole movie, which carry a stigma other parts of the movie are lacking. You can feel the invisible pressure surrounding their complicated rapport, which is so much more interesting than when they are taken out of their work environment, talking to weak-minded supporting characters. These two actresses play their characters as slick manipulators who have a pulling tension toward the other one, that they love and fear each other at the same time for what the other one might do to get the upper hand. Then the next hour of the film becomes a different movie altogether, and while it's still fun to watch, implausibility just goes out the window because you cannot believe for a second that a woman so naive and weak as this could become a genius manipulator all of a sudden, turning the tables on everyone who wronged her. You also realize how much more colorful the Kristen Scott Thomas character was, proving once again that the villain is usually more interesting than the hero. You realize that the screenplay was working so much at giving you insight into the workplace relationship and how the psychological scars would eventually have to play out that you think they switched gears on us all too fast. Coming up next, Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy team up to take down their tower heist.
Man in the suit doesn't have it all figured out, but man with the gun needs to understand what man in the suit is trying to accomplish here, all right?
Why are you talking like that?
You were talking like that.